I was a failure and my life was a failure. And I was staring at a man who was staring back at me, thinking the same exact thing. At this point in my life, I was in prison and I was at one of my lowest points. And as I was staring in that mirror, the man who was staring back at me was thinking the same exact thoughts. He had the same exact life. And I wondered that when we walked away from that mirror, did that version of me walk away into an alternate life and an alternate reality that was better than the one I was living? And the reality was there was no alternate reality. There was no other place that another part of me was going to live and he was better off than me. You know what I mean? It was just me in prison because of bad, terrible decisions that I had made. I had put myself in prison. And I had nobody to blame but myself. And that day when I looked in that mirror and that mirror looked back at me, I said, this is on me. And if I'm ever going to do anything in this lifetime that's worth being done, it's going to start now. It's going to start with me. It's going to start with the man who's staring at me, which is myself. And something shifted inside of me. And I knew that it wasn't everybody else's fault, but it was my fault. I knew that even though I had been wronged by some people, and I knew that even though my friends had turned their backs on me, and even to some degree my own family, and I knew that some of the correctional officers who did wrong to me while I was incarcerated were wrong, there was something in me that knew that I was still in control of my own destiny. And if I could figure out how to take responsibility for my own life and for myself, that I could correct course, right? I knew that I could chart a new course for my life. It was just, it was like, you ever hear that light bulb moment where the light bulb just go cling, boom, and it just pops on? Well, it was one of those moments where the light bulb went off. And when the light bulb went off, it didn't just flicker and it didn't just make a spark, but it lit up the whole room that's inside my mind and conscience. My emotions changed. Everything changed that day when that man stared back at me. And right now, I promise you, there's somebody who's watching who didn't click off and click away because they're looking for the next dopamine click from a 30-second short that they won't remember 30 seconds after they watch it, because they'll be on to the next short and the next short. And everything is just this revolving, regurgitating garbage, and you never get anywhere. Tell me that you don't watch these YouTube shorts and these TikTok shorts and you really don't remember what they were about, because they don't have any significant impact to who you are as a person and who you are in life. You go through life stumbling like a hamster in his wheel, or a hamster caged. Well, I was caged. I was actually in prison. And I'd spent a lot of time in prison. And it's the same old, just like the hamster around the wheel. You walk around the yard over and over. And in prison yards where the track is, there is no track that a city built with taxpayers' money that has this nice concrete pavement. It's just dirt that used to be grass where inmates walk day in and day out and year in after year until it becomes just this dusty, dirty trail of brokenness, a dusty, dirty trail of nothing, a dusty, dirty trail of them fantasizing about getting back in society so they can go back to the club, so they can go back to the dope, so they can stick the needle back in their arm, so they could tip the alcohol back one last time, so they can get one last high and go sell one more bundle of dope, because they think that that's going to get them where they need to be, scheming and scamming. Or even those inmates who walk around the track over and over again, and the only thing that they do is daydream about being a better version of themselves, but they never take action. As soon as they get the first opportunity, they don't take responsibility. They blame someone else. And I knew I couldn't blame anybody no more. It wasn't society's fault. And yes, society had failed me in some regards, but I was a grown man. And I was in charge of my own destiny. And that's why today I am where I am. Because when I got out of prison at 28 years old, I had already had that light bulb moment. And right now, somebody's watching this, and I promise you, you're getting your light bulb moment. I can tell you what it's like to walk through it, because I've been walking through it for, sometimes I forget my age. I am 48. I'll be 49 next year. I got out of prison at 28. The first time I made it to an adult prison, I was 19 years old. I made it to adult prison at 19. I was in and out of prison. When I came back home, I was committing more crimes. My crimes had progressively gotten worse and worse. And if it wasn't for me waking up and looking in that mirror, I would probably be dead or still in jail, maybe on a life sentence, maybe on a 50-year sentence, maybe on a 10-year sentence. You know what I mean? They got dudes who will go in and out of jail, 5-year sentence, 10-year sentence, 2-year sentence. They're basically doing a life sentence on the installment plan. You don't want to do a life sentence on the installment plan. You don't want to live a life that's so destructive that even though you're not in prison, you're in prison. In society, in the free world, you're still in prison. You have a prison, a barrier, a mental barrier built up in your own mind, and it's your own destruction. And the countdown and the clock is constantly ticking against you. Responsibility, brothers, sisters, whoever's watching this, responsibility. Own who you are, man. I had to own who I was. And I tell you what, just because I decided to own who I was that day didn't mean that life changed all the way, because it didn't. It still took time. It still took patience and perseverance to get to where I am today. I still had a lifetime of bad habits that I had to break. It took new disciplines and new thought processes in my life to get me to where I am today. I had to break the old thought processes. I still sat in prison. I still got write-ups, still got in fights. I remember still being an anarchist, because that's what I was. I did not like anything with structure, no government. I was against it all. I had read this book called The Hot House, Life Inside Leavenworth Prison. I read it when I was like 16 years old. Like I told y'all, if you watch The Pen and the Shank for any amount of time, you know I like to read. And I read a lot of books. I've read more than the average person. I read this book at 16 years old because I was interested in true crime. And there was this one piece in it that I'll never forget. They had these little snippets of dudes who were doing time inside Leavenworth Prison or Marion Prison, which are federal prisons, and they would give these little snippets, these one-word paragraphs, or these 2 or 3 sentences, or this one paragraph where they would let these inmates give a sentence or a paragraph on how they felt in life. And there was this one guy, and he said that he wished the world had one face so he could spit in it. He wished the entire world, everybody who lived in it, had one face so he could spit right in the face of the world. And he lived his life wanting to spit in the face of society and the world. And he probably died a very unsatisfied life. Who you trying to impress? What you trying to impress? Man, you got to shift your mindset. Things got to change. And I'm speaking that today because I know somebody needs to hear this. Somebody needs to know that when they walk away from this video, the gears inside their mind are beginning to start moving, and they're moving in a different direction, almost like a ship. You ever see a boat when a ship, like a cargo ship? I worked on ships a lot, I know. So when they first start them up, they have to start them up hours in advance just to get that thing moving and cranked up and ready. And it takes a while, and a pilot has to come on board, and they have to begin charting the course. And it starts while they're at port, and it takes a while. So right now you're at port, and those gears and those rudders and everything's beginning to vibrate and shift. Something's changing. Well, now's the time to take responsibility and grab hold of the old steering wheel in your life. The captain, sit in the captain's chair. You're the captain of your own life, and begin to steer that wheel, man, in the right direction. 2026 is coming soon. Life ain't waiting for none of us. Opportunities from the past or in the past. There's nothing you could do about them. You have today and tomorrow. One of my favorite quotes, and I forgot who it was by, is the best time to plant a tree is 10 years ago. But the next best time to plant a tree is today. If you didn't plant your tree 10 years ago, I didn't plant my tree on YouTube and social media because I was ashamed of my past. Now I have a channel, The Pen and the Shank, where I talk about all things crime and prison related. And this is the most unusual and unique crime and prison related experience on YouTube. So you should like and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification because I'm putting out stuff that's different. And I want you to share in the comments, what types of videos would you like me to put out? I got some stuff that I haven't even told yet on my channel because there are stories that I want to tell that are so impactful that I'm not ready to tell them yet, because when I tell them, I really want them to reach a larger audience. So I'm not ready to put them out quite yet, because there's a story that I'm planning on telling soon about a prison that is so brutal and the staff was so vicious that I'm scared to even share the story with people. And I'm going to share it on the channel, The Pen and the Shank, because I always thought that if I share this, I live in the state of Louisiana. Maybe these people will find me, plant something on me, lock me back up, and unalive me. Because what I saw inside this particular jail, for-profit prison, is the stuff of nightmares. It made gangsters cry, and some of them die. And I'm going to tell that story. It's going to be like a 3 or 4 part story because I'm not going to leave nothing out. And that's what you're going to get on The Pen and the Shank, as well as some entertaining things. But the next best time to start my YouTube channel was 2 years ago when I did it. And here we are. We're pushing on 1,000 subscribers. And if you're still watching this and if you're not subscribed, I hope that you do subscribe and become a part of this community, The Pen and the Shank. I want us to be a community where we help one another in the comments, and eventually, who knows, what horizons await us, as a community for this channel on The Pen and the Shank. We're going to get guests on. I'm going to get some of my audience on the show eventually. I'm figuring it all out. But for now, I'm talking to you with an iPhone, and I'm sharing with you what changed my life and how my life changed. And this is for somebody. And if this reaches one person, and it was meant to reach one person, then it accomplished what it was supposed to accomplish. But if it reaches a couple hundred people, then that's even better, because a couple hundred people can all have the light bulb moment, gear shifting, course correcting. The better version of you is coming. The better version starts now. The better version of you is staring back at you when you look in that mirror and you say, today's the day I make a difference in my life. I'm an ex-convict, a convicted felon, violent offenses. I grew up in, not the best circumstances, not the worst, but not the best. I lost all my immediate family in a 4-year period. I had friends turn their backs on me. I had people who were close to me, confidants, turn their backs on me. I've turned my back on people. I've walked through hell. I've had doors shut in my face. I've been told no more times than I like to admit. I've been told I wasn't good enough. Been told this, that, and the other. But if all I did was dwell on that, then I would never reach the best version of myself. And I'm blessed. And I've been told all kinds of things. I struggled with myself. I struggled with the fact that I could even be a good father to my children for a long time. And while I was in prison, I struggled with that. And that's something I'm sharing with y'all. I struggled with that. And when I got out, I had to deal with that issue. And I had conversations with my children. I talked to them. I told them how I feel. I didn't, sell them no lies or no, stuff that I just told them the truth. I gave them the honest, real truth, which I think they need. Now, whether they accept that truth or not, they're older. That's on them. But I gave them the truth, and I gave them a different man. I've proven, my track record proves it. Since I've been home from prison, I've done a lot. I have. I've been a lot of places. I've been out the country. I was blessed to go, to Europe, the Middle East, been to Mexico, been all over the U.S., and not just for leisurely activities, but I did it to help other people. That's right, I gave back. been on mission trips. I spent years rebuilding communities in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, making little to no money, while me and my wife were trying to figure out how to eat, right? So I've been there. I've done that. I went and got, you know what I mean, higher education after I got home from prison. I got certificates. I could go in my room and in the drawer and I could show you stacks of certificates of things I accomplished. But at the end of the day, it's not about me proving any of that to anybody, but it was about me proving that to myself. I had to know I could be a better man. I had to know I could be a better version of myself. And I think you can be a better version of yourself. Don't let nobody tell you different. Stand up for yourself and be a better man or a better woman today. And let me know what you think about what I said. Share in the comments. Have you had a light bulb moment? Or are you still struggling? And if you're still struggling, you're where you're at, okay? That doesn't mean tomorrow's not going to be better. Before my brother died, I always told him, Matt, you could be the better version of yourself. Just be you. People love you for you. I want you just to be my brother. I don't need you to be all this greater things, greater stuff that you think you need to be for me to accept you. Let people accept you for who you are, right? As long as you ain't disrespecting them, you know what I mean? And nothing like that. Or you ain't doing nothing stupid. Because there is stupid stuff that you could do too. So you need to check yourself. You know if it's dumb or not. But, you know, let me know in the comments if you're having that moment. And give me a like and subscribe to the Pen and the Shank. And we can do this together as a community, y'all. Let's build this channel up.